The greatest right that Allah has over His servants is that they do not associate anything with Him. Shirk is of two kinds. One is manifest shirk, and the other is hidden shirk. Allah is the one who creates everything, who takes and who gives. Yet in this world He has placed certain causes and connected events in the universe to those causes. Forgetting that these are merely causes and laws, inclining toward them, attaching one's affairs to them, and forgetting Allah, this is hidden shirk. The most harmful thing for a believer is to be bound to causes. You may think that shirk is something distant from you, something obvious, something that belongs to idols, statues, or ancient peoples long gone. You may believe that because you do not bow before stone or wood, because you say the name of Allah with your tongue, because you believe in His oneness with your mind, that you are safe. But my friend, Ibn Arabi does not speak to the careless. He speaks to the seeker. He speaks to the one who already believes, yet has not fully awakened. His words are not meant to accuse you. They are meant to uncover you. Hidden shirk does not shout, it whispers. It hides inside habits, inside thoughts, inside fears. It dresses itself as logic, as realism, as responsibility. It rarely says, I deny Allah. Instead, it says, yes, Allah exists, but. And after that but, the heart quietly turns elsewhere. This is why Ibn Arabi calls attachment to causes the most harmful thing for a believer. Not disbelief, not rebellion, attachment. To understand this, you must first understand what Ibn Arabi means by causes. He is not denying the order of the universe. He is not asking you to abandon effort, reason, or action. He himself lived in the world, traveled across lands, taught students, wrote books, faced rulers, faced poverty, faced loss. He knew hunger, he knew danger, yet his heart was not bound to what his eyes saw. He saw causes as veils, not as sources. Allah in His wisdom created a world of apparent order. Fire burns, water quenches, medicine heals, work brings provision. People begin to believe that these things act independently. Slowly, silently, the heart begins to lean, not bowing, but leaning, not worshiping, but relying, and reliance is a subtle form of devotion. Whatever you rely on, you entrust yourself to. Whatever you entrust yourself to, you secretly believe has power over you. This is where hidden shirk is born.
Ibn Arabi's vision of reality is rooted in tawhid, not as a slogan, but as lived awareness. For him, there is only one true actor, only one true giver, only one true taker. Everything else is a mirror reflecting an action that does not belong to it. When you forget this, when you stop at the mirror and fall in love with the reflection, you have not denied Allah, but you have veiled Him. Think of a mirror, my friend. When you look into it, you see an image. If the mirror breaks, the image disappears. Yet the image never belonged to the mirror. The mirror only reflected what stood before it. Causes are mirrors. Allah is the one standing behind them. To attribute power to the mirror is not ignorance of existence, it is ignorance of source. This is why Ibn Arabi warns the believer, not the atheist. The atheist denies outright. The believer risks forgetting quietly. In the path of tasawwuf, this forgetfulness is considered more dangerous than open denial because it lives inside obedience. You pray, yet you rely on your salary. You make dua, yet you trust your connections. You say Allah is the provider, yet your heart trembles when numbers change. This trembling reveals where the heart is tied. Yunus Emre, in his simple yet piercing language, often warned of this state. Though he spoke softly, his meaning was sharp. The one who says, "I believe," but whose heart is divided, has not yet tasted belief. It is said by the masters that faith has levels, and the highest level is not certainty of the mind, but surrender of the heart. Ibn Arabi approaches this from a metaphysical depth. In his understanding, existence itself is a continuous act of divine self-disclosure. Nothing exists independently, not even for a moment. Everything is constantly receiving being. If Allah were to withdraw His sustaining attention for even an instant, the entire cosmos would vanish like breath on glass. In such a reality, how can a cause possess power? Yet the human being forgets, because the world appears stable. The sun rises every day. Gravity never fails. Systems repeat themselves. Patterns form. The mind begins to confuse consistency with independence. This is the root of hidden shirk.
In the Mathnavi, Rumi tells stories where people cling to appearances and suffer because of it. In one such lesson, he reminds the listener that relying on means alone is like holding on to a shadow while ignoring the body casting it. The shadow moves, changes, disappears. The body remains. When you hold the shadow, you are exhausted. When you turn to the body, you find rest. This is not a call to abandon the world, it is a call to see through it. The true Sufi does not deny causes, he passes through them. He plants the seed, but trusts the rain. He takes the medicine, but sees healing as a gift. He works, but knows provision is written. He loves, but does not imprison his heart in the beloved. This balance is subtle, it requires constant remembrance. Hidden shirk thrives where remembrance fades. Modern life, perhaps more than any other age, strengthens attachment to causes. Systems are complex, control feels possible. Technology gives an illusion of mastery. Data predicts outcomes. Insurance promises safety. Planning replaces prayer. Gradually, Allah becomes an idea instead of a presence. Ibn Arabi would not reject modernity, he would diagnose it. He would say that the sickness is not in tools, but in attribution. When the heart attributes power to tools, it forgets the hand that moves them. When success is attributed to strategy alone, gratitude becomes shallow. When failure is blamed on circumstances alone, patience disappears. The believer's struggle, then, is not to escape the world, but to cleanse perception, to see Allah acting through every event, pleasant or painful, to understand that causes are honored servants, not independent gods. This understanding transforms suffering. When loss comes, the heart does not shatter because it was not tied to what was lost. When success comes, the heart does not swell because it knows it did not create it. This is spiritual freedom. Ibn Arabi himself lived this. In his travels, he experienced moments of deep poverty and moments of honor. He met kings and slept on bare earth, yet his writings reveal a man whose inner state remained anchored, not because he controlled outcomes, but because he did not attribute outcomes to anything but Allah. He teaches that true servanthood is not passive resignation, it is active surrender. You act fully, but you let go inwardly. You tie the camel, but your heart does not cling to the rope. This is why he says the most harmful thing for a believer is attachment to causes, because attachment fractures tawhid, not in belief, but in experience. The tongue says Allah, but the heart says if only, and every if only is a crack. Friend, look gently into your own life. Where does your heart tighten? Where does fear rise? Where does hope become desperate? These are signs, not sins. They show you where remembrance is needed. Hidden shirk is not removed by guilt, but by awareness, by returning again and again to the source, by seeing causes as letters in a book, not the author of the story. As Ibn Arabi saw it, Allah is closer to you than your own thoughts, yet your thoughts often stand between you and Him. The path is not outward, it is inward, through veils you did not know you were wearing. And the first veil is the belief that something other than Allah holds your life. There is a moment on this path, my friend, when you begin to notice that your exhaustion does not come from doing too much, but from carrying too much. Not physical weight, but inner weight. Expectations, outcomes, fears, hopes tied to things that were never meant to carry your heart. This is where Ibn Arabi's warning becomes painfully clear. The heart was created to face Allah, not to lean against causes. Hidden shirk does not always appear as trust in wealth or people. Sometimes it appears as trust in your own self, in your intelligence, in your discipline, in your spiritual progress. You may begin to say, "I have come far," or "I understand deeply," or "I am safe now." And at that moment, the self quietly replaces Allah as the reference point. Ibn Arabi was relentless against this illusion. He knew that the ego can dress itself in spirituality more convincingly than in anything else. In Tasawwuf, this state is often described as the most dangerous station, because the seeker believes he has arrived, yet the real journey has only begun. The masters remind us that the nafs does not disappear, it refines its language. What once said, "I want the world," may later say, "I want certainty." What once said, "I want pleasure," may later say, "I want closeness," but the I remains. This is why remembrance must deepen, not just repeat. Zikr is not a sound alone, it is a reorientation. Every repetition of the divine name is meant to loosen the grip of causes on the heart. Every breath of remembrance is a quiet rebellion against the illusion of control. Rumi illustrates this in the Masnawi through stories where characters suffer not because of external hardship, but because of misplaced trust. In one teaching, he describes people who cling to the boat while ignoring the current, believing the wood saves them while it is the water carrying them forward. The boat is honored, yes, but it does not move itself. Forgetting this brings fear when the boat creaks. Remembering it brings peace, even in storms. Storms are inevitable. Ibn Arabi never promised safety, he promised meaning. He did not teach that the believer would be protected from pain, but that pain would no longer be meaningless. When causes fail, when plans collapse, when expectations betray you, the heart trained in tawhid does not collapse with them, it bows. And in that bowing, it rises.
Think of the image of fire, often used by the masters. Fire burns what is false and leaves what is real. Trials are fire. If your reliance is on causes, the fire consumes you. If your reliance is on Allah, the fire consumes only the illusion. What remains is clarity. Yunus Emre spoke of this clarity as becoming nothing, so that everything real may appear. Not annihilation of existence, but annihilation of false ownership. To say, with the heart, not just the tongue, nothing belongs to me, nothing moves by me, nothing remains because of me. This does not weaken you, it strengthens you. A heart that no longer clings becomes brave. A heart that does not fear loss becomes generous. A heart that does not depend becomes deeply compassionate because it no longer demands from creation what only the Creator can give. In modern life, you are trained to secure yourself, to optimize, to predict, to manage risk. Tasawwuf does not deny wisdom or planning, but it asks a dangerous question. After all your planning, where does your heart rest? If your peace depends on results, then results have become your God. If your calm depends on control, then control has replaced trust. Ibn Arabi's solution is not withdrawal, but intimacy. Intimacy with Allah in every moment. To see His hand in delay as much as in arrival. To recognize that what you call obstacles may be invitations, that what you call loss may be protection. This perception does not come instantly. It is cultivated through reflection, through remembrance, through sincere struggle. There is a story often told about the friends of Allah. When something they loved was taken, they did not say, "Why was it taken?" They asked, "Why was my heart tied to it?" This is not self-blame, it is self-knowledge. Hidden shirk dissolves when the heart learns to witness rather than cling, when it watches thoughts rise and fall without obeying them, when it notices fear without surrendering to it, when it acts fully but releases outcomes completely. This is the station Ibn Arabi points toward, not perfection, but presence, not certainty of events, but certainty of source. You may ask, how does one live this in daily life? You begin small. You notice where anxiety appears. You trace it back to attachment. You gently return your trust to Allah, again and again, not with harshness, but with patience. The heart learns slowly, like a child learning to walk. Over time, something shifts. The world does not change, but you do. Causes remain, but they no longer imprison you. You participate without being consumed. You love without possession. You strive without desperation. This is freedom, not the freedom to choose anything, but the freedom from needing anything other than Allah. And this is why Ibn Arabi insists that the greatest right of Allah over His servants is that they do not associate anything with Him, not because Allah needs exclusivity, but because the human heart needs unity. Division is suffering, unity is peace. My friend, if these words stirred something in you, sit with that stirring. Do not rush past it. Let it question you gently. Let it soften the places where your heart has hardened in fear or habit. If this journey speaks to you, if it brings you closer to Allah rather than to answers alone, then walk with us. Subscribe to this channel because this path is not meant to be walked alone. And if you wish, write this in the comments, not for me, but for yourself. My heart belongs to Allah alone. Until the next meeting, may your reliance grow lighter, your remembrance deeper, and your heart more free.